proudest day, and the proudest time, and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. The 2026 season starts here, and I hope everyone had a lovely Christmas and New Year. And Connor, we're absolutely delighted to be back.
Yeah, look, it's the start of another season, lots to look forward to, and we've a lot planned and that we're going to bring to everybody, or looking forward to bringing to everybody through the year. But one of the things we're going to start with is the European Historic Rally Championship. Opportunity I had to speak to some of the local and the UK competitors in the championship.
Yeah, we've seen the way that championship has gone from strength to strength over the last couple of years, and who better to speak to? Ernie Graham, been a stalwart of the championship for so many years, and his son Will won the Category 4 this year as well. So we speak to the two of them, and they're joined by Fintan McGrady and Dean Beckett, who have been over and made a few events there this year. Barney Mitchell, Barney is synonymous with sitting with Marty and Greg both now. Alan Bolton, both on tour, and then Tim Metcalfe as well too from the UK. He's another one of those, and a real lovely man who has fell into, and along with the McCormicks and all them boys as well too. It's a fantastic story. And Connor, the more I talk to these guys, the European Historic Rallying is historic rallying. It is rallying from 20, 30 years ago. Just the camaraderie, the crack that they have.
Oh, look, it's proper old school, and it is no man left behind. It is everybody mucks in. There's parts and spares shared. Everything is done to make sure that the rivals and competitors are kept in the game, because everybody's there for the crack as well as the fight.
Yeah, and they all sit down and eat dinner at the end of each day as well too. And it's a fantastic story, and we're privileged to listen into this story.
Yep, absolutely, and we hope everybody enjoys the crack as much as we had listening to it.
That's for sure. So the first voice you're going to hear from now is Will Graham. Will, European champion in 2025. Huge honour to win the title, but also to keep it in the family.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was such a great year in 2025, and to have also won having won the 1600 trophy as well. It was great to have done it as a family, and the team trophy as well. And having been part of the championship for many years, and Dad has won a few championships over the years. It was great that I could finally get one, which I was really pleased. And although at Yari Matty he did get the overall, but still to beat him in Category 4, I never would have imagined I could have done that at the beginning of the year. So that was a great result. We were so pleased with that.
Yeah, because you've practically grown up around the European Historic Championship.
Yeah,
because your father's been competing at it now for so long.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's photos of, I think, my sister 2005 on the historic Acropolis on the podium with Dad, with the overlooking the Parthenon. So we've been at it for a long time as a family, and great to really be part of it myself now as well, and to finally have a bit of success has been really good.
For sure. And Ernie, it must be such a proud moment for you to see Will claim the crown, but to do it as a family. Your daughter sits with you, Karen, your wife, then sits with Will as well at times as well. It's such a huge family occasion.
Oh yes, no, that makes it really special. Particularly Karen being able to do it with Will has been really good. Not that many mums and sons, do rallying in that way, and they really enjoy doing that together. And for me, it's been great to have Anna as well, and as Will mentioned, right through from her being a pretty young child, on the podium to now doing a bit of co-driving with me. It's been such a great experience over the years, and seeing such a wide range of events, and being in different places.
For sure. And Fintan, this is your first year dipping your toe into the European Historics. what was it attracted you there in the first place?
It was to do something different. We've done a fair bit in Ireland over the years, and especially Northern Ireland, and it was really to do something different. And we went with the attitude that it was always going to be a learning curve, and so it was from the very beginning. But the other attitude we took was we didn't go out at 10 tenths. We took it 8, 9 tenths, and just to ensure that we finished, we got the car to the finish, that we enjoyed the full experience. And I must say it worked out well for us. We met some lovely people, including the Grahams, and we had a ball. Each event for us turned out to be a holiday, if you like. And we were blessed. Dean and I were both blessed with Billy Miskelly and Raymond Nelson, who are older gentlemen, but were happy to work on the car and happy to drive the van and trailer the whole way around Europe. And every time they got in a boat, they hit the truckers' lounge, and they were talking trucks and 48 tonners and 44 tonners with all the guys in there. So listen, we had a ball, and we treated it as a fun, as a holiday. We didn't take it overly serious, but we made sure that we took it serious enough that the car was reliable and that I got the car to the end.
Mm-hmm. And like, Dean, what an adventure! Like, countries that if you were sitting down to plan your holidays would be ones you want to go to, but to go enjoy the good weather, enjoy the scenery, but have a rally as well too.
Well, absolutely. I don't think the weather was that particularly good on any of them, bar Ypres. But listen, we were in parts of countries. Yes, you go to Spain. Yes, you go to France. Yes, you go to Belgium. But we were in the rural parts of these countries, that places we will never be again, places we have never seen before. So yes, it was an experience.
Yeah, Dean, privileged to be able to do all those events.
Absolutely. I mean, I think with the support of the McCormick clan, we had a little bit of guidance, which was a bit of a cheat code, but it was very, very useful, very helpful, and we're very appreciative of. But certainly, as Fintan says there, you're seeing places, okay, most of the time when you're doing your recce, etc., you're concentrating and you're not looking at the scenery, obviously, but certainly Girona, Ypres was great again. It's just an unreal event. I'm sure many of your contributors over the time have mentioned that, but certainly the back-to-back with Asturias and Faf, logistical, wouldn't say it's a nightmare, but it was taxing on the brain to get the movement schedules all sorted and to make sure that everybody was in the right place at the right time. But it was great event, and appreciated being there with Fintan.
Yeah, and Dean, is language an issue, or is the organisers very accommodating for us? That's
just the bad language.
Yeah. No, I mean, hand signals obviously work now and again, but most of the time when you're up to time controls, which is your important part, everybody was very helpful. But no, I think it's the normal thing. Whenever you're left-hand drive at home, it's interesting when timekeepers come up to take time cards off you. But it was the opposite way around, obviously, this time, because we had our car over, or Fintan had his car over.
Yeah, for sure. And Tim, like you're like historic rallying, like that is your go-to, like that's what you love. And like you've in the last couple of years now, you've started going over into Europe. How have you found the events? Very welcoming.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've found that events abroad, they involve the organisation involves communities. They do a huge amount of sort of pre-rally work, and it's great to see people out there supporting the rally, but just not on the stages, but actually on the road sections. You quite often see people having picnics and barbecues in the garden. But all in all, it's the EHRC does take you to some fantastic places. As Fintan said before, the weather wasn't always as kind. Certainly Girona, from memory, wasn't very warm at all. But it's generally a great experience. But what I would say has brought some like-minded people together, and we have great fun. And that's the key for me. To enjoy it, enjoy the crack, enjoy the company.
And how did you fall in with this whole McCormick Graham clan?
I think really just from attending events. I mean, I only came back to rallying in 2017. I had to go early 90s and ended up in hospital. We had young children at the time, so I think I did one more rally and then stopped. And I wished I'd, unfortunately now I'm just gone 68 and eyesight failing, all that sort of stuff. So I wished I'd continued years ago. But what I do enjoy, as I say, is the togetherness and the camaraderie that has developed from these events. And one other point I would say, I think it's a big thank you, and hopefully I'm sure everyone would agree. Jamie Edwards, who's the FIA guy who runs it all for us, he's brought a new front to the FIA. It was always a little bit sort of stiff upper lip and straight back and sort of staring at you. But Jamie's brought sort of a human contact side, and I've seen far improved events and also far improved, let's say, togetherness.
And Barney,
I was just going to say there to Tim, talking about being together and team spirit, you might want to mention how the team gelled in Switzerland one year, Tim, as I recall, to quite late at night.
Yeah, I was hoping somebody wouldn't mention that. No, John, sorry if I'm talking too much, but I'll try and cut it short. We did Col de la Croix, and I don't know how, but we seem to have ended up in the top sort of 10 runners with Zippo and Lucky and everybody up there, and they all put their wets on, and we headed off up the hill and down the other side. But down the other side, we swapped ends, went 200 meters backwards into the trees. We stayed there, sort of thinking, and I'm thinking because I'd been upgrading my hotel overlooking Lake Geneva to a penthouse. And I thought, that's my Sunday worked out. I'll go and sit there. Anyway, 4 hours later, we got lifted out of the trees, and amazingly, the car, it was more the back end. The oil tank was right. It wasn't damaged, but it was at a crazy angle. Got back about 11 at night from memory, and I was met by this crazy Irishman called Greg, who said, I can't swear, but he just said, I said, Greg, we've retired. And I think he said, you fucking haven't. And he said, no, you and John, you go and get something to eat. And I think we met Ernie and his wife and grabbed a bite to eat in there. We went back about 2.5 hours later. It was after 1 o'clock. And in that time, there'd been Greg, 3 Hungarians, an Austrian, and James Potter banging away at the car. They even remodeled the rear end. They took the light covers off a mobile toilet and shaped them to fit an Escort. And I'm thinking, oh my God, but I couldn't believe this is the sort of thing that happens. And they actually got us going. And they made the car, it looked a bit more like, if you can imagine, the side view of an XR3 than a Mark II. But they somehow managed to shape it with rags and all sorts. But they were absolutely brilliant. And we were, obviously, as you will say, we were there as well with Flexify, who, as we all know, are fantastic supporters of the championship. So, all in all, they were amazing. And I think that as well just brings people together, and that's very much what the whole thing is about, and you feel that. Whereas, I've done rallies here in mainland UK, be it forestry or asphalt, and the feeling is that you turn up, nobody hardly talks to each other, and then they go home quickly, and but for me, it's not that. It should be, we do, as I say, we share a passion, and I think it's a good catalyst to all get along.
For sure. And Barney, like we've talked before, and that's for for you guys in the McCormick clan, that's what rallying's all about. Make sure no one's left behind.
Yeah, well, I think Tim's story there is that's payback for him. Actually, the first time we met him, he actually pulled us out of a hole. He gave us, I think, 2 wets. Was that right, Tim?
Yeah,
Costa Brava, our first European rally.
But I think you'd ripped a wheel off, hadn't you? And
no, it didn't rip off, but it was relocated.
How did you
it had a geolocation relocation. Yeah, but again, that was our first interaction with him that I know of, and it was a good one. So when you start off on a good foot, we always like to try and return the favour. And It's been pretty reciprocal for everybody. Everybody seems to help each other and fit with each other very well. So that's good times, you know.
Yeah, and Ernie, one of those things there was mentioned there too is breaking bread with each other too. And you have this man Alan Bolton here who puts up feeds that would be fit for a king.
He does. Oh yes, the barbecues are fantastic. We've experienced those in many service areas. Middle Ypres, it was lovely there last year, in that really historic setting. And Alan there with a trusty barbecue as ever. And one of the things you're going here from England, we need to have a carny, a lot of paperwork and stuff, and all the stuff's listed. When we were working with Greg and getting ready, his main concern for the carny list was whether the barbecue was on there. So the trusty barbecue got over okay.
Yeah, for sure. And the
chicken stew.
Yes, you just took the words right out of my mouth, Tim. I was just about to say, well, I believe one of the main staples of it is the chicken stew.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And even,
it's good stuff.
Even Hayden Paddon's wanting to come to Ireland now to try it.
Only man that barbecues a stew.
So, Alan, when you're on the move, you have to do whatever you have to do to make it work.
100%, and the chicken stew is a perfect example of that. Tim alluded to the weather in Girona this year. Everybody thinks you're going to Spain, shorts and t-shirts. When we were there this year, the shorts and t-shirts were back home. And we were foundered and soaked. So Caroline and I had came up with a menu for one particular evening, and we're, as usual, going to get the barbecue on and chicken breasts and a burger and all the decorations and whatnot have you. And we'll get up that morning and it would have foundered you. I said, Caroline, that's it, an evening for a barbecue. So I came up with this idea of a chicken stew with a bit of help from Caroline, and there were friends of theirs there, a Serbian lady. She sat and peeled spuds, scraped carrots. Now we had no peeler. She scraped potatoes and carrots and peeled onions, and the whole thing went into 2 pots, and we filled 2 bambaries with it, and I don't know how many people wasn't fed, but I have to say the chicken stew has been one of the great memories of this year.
Yeah.
You'll be like Nevin Maguire. It'll be Bolton on tour.
No, book on tour.
Book on tour is right. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, but he sent me the menu, afterwards, and it was all. But at the end, it said something about you need a foreign lady to peel a potato as well. And I didn't have one, so it didn't taste the same.
Yeah, and Ernie, I suppose getting back to the championship, it was seen this year, like in the last couple of years, the Mats, the BMW, the M3, like that's practically, as we've discussed before, practically a works car. Yeah. But then, the likes of, Fintan and Greg and these guys come over with a Mark II that's been built at home. And like those cars, you can go and compete each other, equal stages, equal footing for an FIA crown, the same as the FIA WRC or ERC. This is the last bastion of, inverted commas, accessible rallying for everybody.
Yeah, there's such a wide range of cars there, right from some clubmen who literally themselves drive from some faraway country and maybe do their own servicing even. We got a couple from Germany come down, and they're able to really enjoy it and really part of it. What's that?
The Myers.
The Myers, that's it. The Myers come. They're brilliant, and they're so much part of our setup every time. That was another one for us. We did an engine change one time a few years ago, and he was key to helping us to get the engine changed overnight, which was amazing. So there's that end, and then there's people at the other end with all the very latest gear and sort of everything in between. I wouldn't like to say, though, that a Vatanen replica Escort from Northern Ireland is anything like a garage build. I'd say it would be right up there. Yeah. So, no, I mean, I think everybody's cars that comes, they're probably at different levels, but they're all really well prepared. People are so passionate about it, and they tend to turn up with all these labors of love, to be really honest. And yeah, so it makes it really good. That said, I mean, Mats and the team at from his end in Holland have done a great job of bringing the M3 to a standard where they're more accessible, I'd say, and the parts are available, much like Escorts are. And they're just that one wee stage beyond the Escort, probably in modern design and everything. I don't think the Escorts are that far behind anyway, particularly depending who's driving them. And so I think there really is a place for everybody. The championship over the years has always had the different categories respecting the different years. So we have like a 69 Escort twin cam, and there's a category for that, which is good. We've enjoyed driving that in the past, right through to Mark 1s, Mark 2 Escorts, and then right through to the M3. And this year, the big change coming up is now they're bringing into the championship the next stage up, which is the cars from 93 to 2000. So it's interesting to see how they go. There's been a few of them out this past year, particularly Zippo and the 306 Maxi, and they're really special in how they look as well. But obviously, that's the next stage along, and probably something that a lot of folk will want to get into as well. And it'll be interesting this year to see how that goes, particularly that section of the championship has come to the Ulster Rally. Yeah. So we're excited about that, and probably there'll be some really good machinery. Although I don't know how a 306 Maxi will go over Dun or Torhead, to be really honest.
Well, from what I understand, I gather that maybe Mr. Delacour will be making an appearance.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
If you follow, I've been following Zippo's Instagram.
Yeah.
I think he's 2 or 3 cars, 306s in the build at the minute.
Yeah.
Mr. Delacour features in a lot of the Instagram posts. And also see that Kyle Tilley, is it? The Englishman?
Kyle Tilley.
Yeah, he is a 306 entered for Costa Brava.
Yeah. But I saw Delacour at Rally du Var, which unfortunately retired from. And he sort of, he said he would be making some appearances in the EHRC. So that's, I think, and what you've just said, Alan, is very true. With I don't know if you saw that he'd been over to Italy and to Ike racing.
Excellent. How he would fare against Jari Matti and the Celica, time will tell.
Yes. That's true. But, well, that just shows you where the EHRC is. The likes of Delacour and Jari Matti want to go there and compete, and at the level of the car is just getting higher and higher. It must be very exciting to be involved now at this stage in the championship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it's very exciting, and to have Jari Matti there last year was really raised the profile of it, I would say, and to just see more and more people coming out, I think, is really positive. And particularly that all these newer cars can have a place for them, but there's still a place for, as Dad mentioned, for the older cars. And I think they've done a good job of making sure that everyone can be accommodated. So even Jari Matti and his big Celica, he's accommodated, but also someone who the Myers that we've mentioned, they can come and are just as valued. So that's a real strength of the championship, I would say. Yeah.
And rallying, it's a language all of its own. As you mentioned earlier, there's hand signals. There's a way of communicating. If an engine needs changed, all nationalities muck in. There's a job to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think even we had Yari Mate even onto us for one of the rallies asking for tires because he was not, he didn't quite have enough tires even. So even the great Yari Mate was asking us for help, which we were very, very interested to hear. So definitely everyone mucks in, which is great.
Did you give him any, Will?
I don't think we did in the end.
Oh, we offered anyway.
We offered anyway. We're very
That was
happy
the
to
thought,
help.
was there?
Yeah.
And Fintan, like this is like, you know what, like, well, I'm of an age I can't get over my head round a Celica and a 306's historic car, but like this is proper throwback rally, and this is like the way it probably was in Ireland 25, 30 years ago.
Without a doubt. And talking about the camaraderie, I'll go back to a very quick story. I'll not keep you long. But one of my first encounters with Greg was back in the mid '80s. We were doing a rally in the Cooley Mountains on a Saturday, and Greg had planned to go to Waterford on the Sunday. But as usual, Greg bust his engine into bits, and at the end of the rally, we literally took the engine out of my car, put it into his, and he went away and did his Sunday run down in Waterford. That's what happened back then. Will is right, and this is the type of camaraderie that I was seeing in Europe. The downside, I suppose, of the newer cars coming in, the Subarus, the Cosworths, the 306 Maxis, that brings a different level of budget. That's big money stuff, and it's going to be a problem getting spares maybe for some of those cars or running some of those cars. Yeah. So we'll probably maybe not just see as many of them as we would like, but hey, they're fascinating. The amount of cars that we saw, like there was Renault turbos with mid-engines, there was BMW, I think it was an X1, really rare
M1, yeah.
Really rare cars and beautiful cars, and Porsches galore. Lovely cars to be in amongst and smelling the fumes, if you like. It was fantastic. It really was a fantastic experience. And you're right, it brought us back to the Donegal of the 70s and the 80s. It brought us back to Irish rallying. It really did.
Yeah. And like, Dean, to hear the kind of names that the cars you're looking out at, you're looking, sitting in that passenger seat, looking out and seeing these guys around you. Like, this must have been the boyhood dream kind of things, like probably posters you nearly had on your wall a few years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think on one of the stages we were sitting about a couple of minutes, which was normal, not 30, 40, 2-hour delay. Everything ran as sweet as a nut. I think we had one slight delay in Ypres, and that was it. But I was just sitting, or pointing downhill, waiting to go into control, and this lovely big fat ass of a Renault 5 Turbo was just sitting in front of me. And I'm just saying, are we really here? And the stages were perfect. They're all challenging in their own way, but certainly all these different vehicles in the service crew in the service area, and you can have a look around. Plenty of time to do it, but it was fantastic. But throwback for sure.
For sure. And like Tim, like it's starting to change now in the UK and in Ireland here. Like historic rallying was nearly like a Mark 1, Mark 2 challenge. Now there is a few more cars and different makes of cars starting to appear. Europe has always seemed to have been such a variety of cars. Great to see that.
Absolutely. I mean, as Dean said in Fintan, I mean, some of the cars that are involved are incredible. Whether it's the 037s or Deltas, Stratus, you see everything. I mean, I think Costa Brava has to take the applause for the greatest variety. You're talking about 250 odd cars. Okay, some are doing sporting, some are doing the Spanish Championship, and then you've got regularity as well at the end of that. But it's an amazing sight to see Parc Fermé there. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing, is I'm not sure. I don't think we lost any stages over the course of the year. Whereas had you gone to Donegal in a historic car, you probably would have only got 4 out of 8 stages. Mm-hmm. In Ireland, because they run the historics at the back of the field, we tend to be losing a lot of stages, and therefore it is not attractive.
No, you're not getting the same bang for your buck.
Correct.
Yeah, and in the FIA, that's the one thing. Jamie's been big on this, is that the FIA Championship is the main act of the weekend. So if there's a national one or sometimes a modern one, to be honest, it's running behind us. And we're, I think maybe Ypres was a case in point. The odd time it's happened the other way around, but much to FIA's disgust, and
San Remo
doesn't happen the second time. Yeah, that's right. San Remo is a good example. So
no, I mean,
that's amazing.
yeah. I think San Remo's back on the calendar this year, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, but probably back in at the front of the field again, I think. So that's a big contribution to no delays or very little delay and very few stages drop. So so it's really good, and it means you get earlier dinner at night as well.
It was only consolation, Ernie. John and I went to Sardinia last year. And you can imagine it's quite a haul to get there, and because of the moderns and the tightness of the roads, I think we did 25 kilometres the whole rally.
Wow.
My goodness.
But
the people were great.
Was really chicken stew.
Oh, the food is fantastic.
But Barney, like, to go over there to experience those stages, like, the cars are like boyhood dream stuff. Is there some of the stages that you're doing that were featured back in the the Group B days, or the the early Group A days that you've been watching on some like in Grandstand of a Saturday?
Yeah. You go down some of the stages that I used to play in the PlayStation. That's actually more relevant. And you didn't recognise them on the TV from years ago, but you did whenever you were playing it from PlayStation stuff when you were a child. Especially the Acropolis. I call it the stage journey that goes down. It's the big red clay one, goes down the main shaft.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people when I say that, they'll understand what I'm saying. The old McRae games and stuff. And we done that at night a couple of times, and that was awesome. And that's like not you don't play an Irish stage either, but these things are just a totally different character, and it just broadens the whole aspect of rallying for you when you see these stages and the things you need to have, and setups, and you learn a lot that you can take back to Ireland as well at times to do with knowing your vehicle, knowing how a spring or a damper works, or diff settings, tires, temperatures, power. There's so many different things that you learn and you bring back and you question again that you took for granted in rallying in Ireland. And you can pass that knowledge on to other people as well, if they ask you for something. So it's good all round. It's a good all round thing, to get away and do a bit of rallying outside your home country.
Just to see how all our organisers work, how other, how they bring together their road book, how they set out stages, how things work. Yeah, well, Alan will know this, that I keep saying that someday, if I ever get time, I'd love to do my version of the Two of the Sperns. and it leans a lot from learning from European rallies and how they run and how the social aspect of it works and different time scales. You don't want to run away to the hills to have your rally. I think it should be brought back into the towns and back to the people. And I think now with tourist boards, with local councils, etc., they start to understand the value of something, a sporting event coming into a town. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago, the clubs all ran away because the councils didn't want to know. You're only annoying them. But now they have people in place that understand the value of it. And I think now maybe a lot of clubs are too shy to go back in and ask, but it's something that going forward needs to happen in Ireland like it happens in Europe. Yeah. We have park fermies in the centre of the town. You have service areas and the main car park in the town. The place revolves around the rally for the weekend, not us trying to avoid people for the weekend to have our rally.
Interesting you should say that, Barney. I'm on the organising committee of a rally this year, which is part of the Northern Ireland Rally Championship, and it's
going well, Fintan.
Yeah, it's based in it's called the Carryduff Forklift Lecale Rally on the 25th of July, and we're basing it in the centre of Downpatrick, right in the centre of town. Wow. And Newry and Mourne District Council have come on board phenomenally well, and there's nothing they won't do for us, and they're actually running a town festival between Thursday and Monday, with the rally being the link pin and the whole thing. So yes, that's very true, Barney, and we are bringing it back to the towns. And if you would all put that date in your diary, and please put entries in for that.
Just on a quick question, are you actually dealing with a dedicated person that runs events in the council?
Yes.
That was absent a few years ago that you have now, and it's a great
we have, Barney,
facility.
We have from the from the roads to the PR people to events. We have the head of each department attending those meetings. So everybody's involved, hands on. It's fantastic what they're doing. It really is.
That's brilliant. That to see that we done that 20 years ago in the Tour of the Sperrins. We had the council fairly well involved because there was that time the May Festival and all. But that sort of, from the council aspect, funding as usual, slid away. But Barney, you can try all you want. I ain't doing it, man. I've told you before, I've retired from that aspect of it.
You just have to have the right proposal put in front of you.
Nope.
I'm banning you from the service area then.
No, we need him to feed us.
He can stay at the front gate.
But well, that is what rallying should be. We see it in Europe, when Belgium, Ypres, it is part of the community. It is part of the character for that week or weekend or whatever length of time the rally's in town.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, all those events, you're right in the middle of the town. Ypres is a good example, or Asturias and Pravia. I think nearly every one is like that. And I think it just really adds to all the atmosphere of it. And, there's a lot of folk come out to see the cars, and you see them all parked up in Parc Fermé, and everyone can go around looking at them. It just really adds to the buzz of it, I would say. And, just having rally cars just buzzing around everywhere, all around the town is really great and really adds to it.
Yeah, and Ernie, Wally Rogers, a resident travel expert now at this stage.
Yes.
He puts up photos, and the likes of Costa Brava, you're servicing right on the seafront.
Yeah,
it is. It's making the rally picturesque, that you can sell the rally. It's it's a 1-1 for everybody. This.
Yeah, these places are very, very sort of spectacular, and particularly, as Fintan said, places maybe you haven't been to before. And I think Barney mentioned that stage in Greece at the top of a mountain, looking down these huge valleys and stuff, and then driving down, in these iconic type of roads was something else. And that's another change in recent years, and even more of it this year, that they're widening it out. It used to be it was only tarmac rallies, the sort of smooth tarmac you would think about Europe being, but now they're bringing in more of these gravel rallies, and it's been great to do the Acropolis a few times and be in the same iconic stages that the WRC would go down. And the old escorts weren't too bad down there. It didn't break them. But then, other places, I'm just thinking even San Remo. There's a place in Elba, that's an iconic, sometimes you catch my breath when you're looking down over some sort of holiday resort that's from the mountain, and you're just winding your way down. It's really lovely. And the roads are great.
Yeah, as well too, to get the chance to compete in Finland, again, epic roads, amongst some of the best in the world. And to do that in a car that's just below you and making loads of noise, it must be something very special. Finland's
been fantastic. It's like my, I'd say more or less favourite rally. The road's just that smooth, and the roads for the historic one are, a bit further south than the WRC, and there isn't the big jumps. I don't think the car's hardly off the ground, but really flowing, very, very smooth. And in the like of an Escort or an M3 or whatever, it's a real joy to drive. We've so enjoyed that. It was nice to have the like of Mr. Hetherington out there this year, and a few faces trying it. I think he really enjoyed himself too. So we've been there quite a few times. But it's something or somewhere we always like going back to.
For sure. And Dean, as well too, with historic rallying, I'm not slagging off modern rallying, but like a rally, an R5 car, Rally 2 car, they all kind of sound very similar. You don't get that in historic rally, and every car has its own distinctive noise, the rasp, it's very guttural.
Absolutely. I think, when I mentioned we were sitting behind that Renault 5 Turbo, it was actually in a small valley. I think it was one of maybe the last stage on an event, and the echo of the cars and from Stratuses to the escorts and the BMs and everything. And albeit we maybe couldn't hear the Renault 4 TL that was taking part in it, possibly. But no, I think all those sounds and smells. It was actually quite interesting when you see the folks dandering around the service park, and every time they're sort of looking at a car, and if you gesture to them, or the mechanics and the guys, Billy or Raymond, were sort of looking at the guys, do you want to have a look at the engine? And they sort of look around and say, yes, please, and up they go, conversation, the hand signals, the gesturing, and they are looking at the detail, because all the cars, as the guys have said earlier, are perfectly prepared. They're a credit to everybody who puts their hands on them, you know.
Yeah, and because as well as being rally cars, they're works of art, some of these things as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the work and effort, and everybody on screen here knows the time and the effort that goes into all that. Certainly, it is appreciated, and I think some of the entertaining passers-by from some Italians who sort of entertained some of the hospitality from Alan at one point early in a Saturday morning, possibly. They were left, and no two ways about it, that Irish hospitality abroad is as good as what it's like at home, you know.
Alan, nothing you would wish to add?
No, what goes there stays in there. But I guess they were offered again on the next evening, but no, they didn't come back.
And Tim, for you to the historic rallying, you can see now what is so special about it. The way that everybody, just the conversation flows. There's no prima donnas. It's just everybody mucks in.
Oh, there are definitely prima donnas.
Are you going to name them?
Name and shame. Yeah. No. There are no prima donnas. It is, as I think I said before, I think everybody's like-minded, same interests, and also you're there to compete, and you want to try do as well as you possibly can, but or what you're able to. But the thing for me is just the whole thing, the general feeling from start to finish. I get excited to go. I'm one of these people who are sort of I keep the car actually in France because it makes it easier. And as Ernie alluded to earlier, with being a Beano here, you have to get the carnet and everything, so it's complicated. So I tend to leave the car down there. I've just brought it back last week, but it's the whole feeling of the HRC, and as I say, the places we visited, the people we meet. It's just wonderful. It really is.
Yeah, and I think the people, really make it, even though it is still an FIA championship. So I find it quite interesting how we fit in this sort of fairly friendly, people with good camaraderie in a regulatory environment, which also extends to Formula One and the WRC, which tends to make it very formalized and stuff. But I think the strength of the FIA still, is valuable to it, because it helps all these countries to want to be involved. Is sort of incredible. And even, I guess, as all competing in it means, like when we turn up at the awards, you're there with last year, Mohammed bin Salem, was doling out the awards to us. And yes, that was quite fun. And just to encourage him to come and try his rallying back in historic rallying. Although I did query whether he was now quick enough, He thought he was.
I think also, Ernie, as you say, the mate of the FIA also keeps the cars on it. You've got your HTP papers, and whoever's showing up. If they have something that's not right with the car, it's not going to be incorrect for too long.
Yeah, that's right.
The people, I call them the blue shirts, the FIA, when they all know what they're talking about and what they're looking at, and if somebody shows up with something that isn't appropriate, it's getting shot down pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because isn't that is like very fair? Because like if you're spending a lot of money to go out and compete in these events, you want to be playing with a straight bat. You want to be, the car you have is the same as the guy that's running, 4 cars in front of you or 3 cars in front or behind you or whatever. That everybody's an equal machinery.
Yeah, I think that's improved over the years, probably now with the system they have for the technical passports. It means that there's experts in every car. Yeah, probably still complaints sometimes that, oh, my car didn't get through on this thing and somebody else's did. That may have happened historically, but to be fair to them, they're putting a lot of work into trying to get the experts to come together and be as consistent as they can for a given model. So I think that's quite good.
I think one of the other things, Ernie, that obviously I know there have been a lot of things about modern lights and things with us aging guys with eyesight and things like that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, do you have any thoughts on it? Obviously the power steering was another thing which when I first came to do the European Historic, all the escorts. I don't think you were there, actually, to be fair, so I can't blame you. But they ran power steering, and we thought, so we put it on, and but they'd been told to take it off at Elba, but they'd run 2 or 3 events with power steering, sort of thing.
Yeah. So I think they're pretty clear now on stuff like that. And then I suppose, whatever you think about whether that'll be helpful or not, I think they're pretty wedded to it being, replicating what was there in period. So that's just a concept, and you could debate around the edges of it. I sort of think it's got not a bad balance overall. They now allow, the tires are pretty good, probably better than they were in period. We're not running in road tires anymore, but it's that sort of thing. And now they're putting they have put a bit of a limit on the number of tires. You can debate whether that's good or bad. Not too sure about that one myself, because sometimes it could be counterproductive. I mean, you have to take more tires in case you run out a particular one. But there you are. So there's pluses and minuses, but overall, it makes the whole thing credible. And whenever you can do well, reasonably valuable to have achieved.
Mm-hmm. And Fintan, for you to go over there and compete, was there much changes had to be done to the car to get it to FIA spec, or had you already run the Appendix K car?
No, I had to go through the pain barrier with that one, only because the car I bought hadn't planned to do EHRC events and hadn't planned to make the car Appendix K. But yes, we had to change suspension to put in standard Bilsteins. We had to take nylon springs out. We had to put steel bonnet and boot on. We had to actually cut the cage where it was joined to the 4 link boxes to make the car period. And I was happy enough. I was happy enough to do that because the car then carries a slightly different value when it has an Appendix K passport.
It does, yeah.
But the interesting thing about the car was whenever we did detach the cage from the 4 link boxes at the back, the car has handled much nicer to drive. So there was obviously a rigidity in there. There's a danger of making cars too strong. They do need to flex. But yes, look, we went through the pain barrier, but we did it early last year. And Ian Sutcliffe came over from Motorsport UK, and he was very good, and he was very, very helpful. He wasn't in any way obstructive, and he saw the paperwork through from A to Z. So it all happened within a month, and we were delighted, to be honest. And it meant when we went abroad, the car was unquestionable. There wasn't a nut and bolt in it that wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. And like then for to go and compete in these events, is it very straightforward? Is the paperwork then to compete then quite straightforward?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys have sort of alluded to the support that we've had right from the top from Jamie. To be honest, I sort of bumped into him in the RAC, but there was not much communication. He was doing his job, I was doing my job, but certainly breath of fresh air. The customer, who are the competitors, is very high on his agenda. No question is ever remains unanswered. He really puts a big effort in. There's a WhatsApp group, and silly questions, serious questions, anybody's free to ask. And if he doesn't know, he'll find out for you. But that support for the competitor and for the customer which is sometimes forgotten about by some sort of organisers, is key to the whole togetherness of the whole championship. Albeit we were just dipping our toe into it, but we were accepted. We were there to do the job. We were there to enjoy ourselves, and everything else that goes along with doing those events.
For sure. And I suppose it's like everything in life. There's no such thing as a stupid question. It's, if something you're not sure of, it's nice to have that backup, that buffer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's where I think Jamie has done a really, really good job of sort of softening the image of the FIA. I would say, at least from a historic point of view, and much more approachable. Where before there may have been, the FIA might have been accused of being maybe hard to penetrate or whatever, but Jamie's done a brilliant job in making them far more palatable, I would say.
For sure. And you've dipped your toe in modern rallying, and you're now swaying more towards the historic rallying. Is the historic rallying, is it friendlier? As Tim said earlier, a lot of events in the UK and probably in Ireland too, guys go compete and disappear off home. There seems to be a more natural flow around historic rallying. Yeah,
no, the historic rallying is just brilliant. I mean, I've done, started R2 Fiestas, was in an Evo when I was in America for a wee while. But, the historic, I just keep coming back to the historics. I mean, the cars are brilliant. You know that they're a good spec. You know where you stand against everyone. The noise is fantastic. And I don't think, no matter what age you are, I think everyone just loves the historics, even people my age or people as young as some of the other folk on this call. Just everyone just loves they're just iconic cars, brilliant noise, and it's just there, and they're a real joy to drive. And I think, as we've alluded already, they're a really brilliant spec now, and good performance, so they're just really fun.
And Barney, again, you're in the privileged position, you get sitting in a Matz M3, and now this car, Greg's now, this Vatanen replica. What is that car like? It just looks absolutely phenomenal, it sounds phenomenal. What's it like to be in?
Scary when Greg's driving. I'm only joking. No, to be fair to Greg, he does make an effort. I think he learned from his mistakes 20 odd years ago. That he listens to every breath you take and everything you do and say. He values the enjoyment of the thing now. So, that car's a beautiful car. So credit to John McKillop and Bray both. Like the thing is unreal. Me and Marty took it. I think was that its first outing. We took it to the Tour of the Sperrins, and
it had been Costa Brava before that.
Oh, was yeah, right, okay, yeah. Well, we took it to the Sperrins, and it got zero mercy from the minute it left the start line. Like. And it never protested once, to be fair. You go. The M3 obviously is a step up with chassis and suspension and brakes and the technology that's involved. The geometry of an M3 was built from the start to be a performance vehicle, whereas an Escort was to take the wife and 2 children to school. But you still get the same enjoyment out of, I keep looking at Ernie's V1600 that he built this year and thinking that'd be just class for a bit of crack. You get the same fun out of them older cars as you do probably more than any more modern vehicle. I think the crescendo was the year 2000, and things started to go down the hill afterwards when the technology and all the active diffs and stuff took over. So bringing these new cars up to the year 2000 into this championship this year is going to bring a relevance back to a newer audience. And we sort of take it for granted we seen them the first time round, but it's going to bring a newer audience into the Mark 1 and Mark 2 Escort by accident by going to watch the WRC cars and the kit cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll hear that injected VDA and say, what is that monster? Or they see the M3s and all them different cars, and they'll see the variety that there was just by going to see the cars that they wanted to see when they were younger.
Yeah.
So it's a good all-round thing. It's a 1-1 situation.
For sure.
I think it's a good indication of the way the European Historic Rally Championships going, that folk from home are now talking to me about going out to watch the events, wanting to know when folk from here are going out to contest the events. You know, there's a multitude of people go to WRC events from here, from the island of Ireland. But folk I've been talking to now wanting to know what's a good European Historic Championship event to go tell. So, you know, that's now starting to grab the appeal of spectators.
Yeah, because a bit like that, what they said earlier there, Fintan and Dean alluded to, it was a rally, but you could also make it into a holiday as well too. And like people are seeing that as an opportunity, maybe go out and do a round of the European Historic and make a family holiday out of it as well when they're there.
Has been done a few times.
I think you've got that the wrong way around, Kevin. It's a holiday interrupted by a rally.
Ask Billy how much of a holiday it is working for Fintan at them event.
Well, how long to get the tissues, Walt? I would say a few of them bottles of stuff you had with you weren't on any carnies anyway.
I didn't need a carny, Barney, going out through Rosslare or Dublin.
They were brought back internally, Barney.
Yeah.
and like Ernie, it must do your heart good because you've been such a long time supporter now of the European Historic to see it now coming to Carrick this year, but you know, closer to home than the Ulster Rally and nearly on your home doorstep as well.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to I believe the Ulster being back probably in Ballymena once again. So if it's based there and up around Glendon, Torhead, which I believe it's probably going to go, or maybe even some of the stages close to home at Brisbane will be brilliant. So we'll. I remember one time, Kevin, I think you helped me when we had a problem on that stage on the Circuit Ireland a few years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
So if we're back there, that'll be fantastic. But now in M3s and stuff, and if there are a few kit cars and everything come, that will be something else. So we're really looking forward to being back there, and hopefully stoke up even more interest from home in these historic type rallies.
Yeah, because we've seen over the last couple of years the Tarmac Championship, the historic section of it, has grown in popularity. This is going to lift it to a new level this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely, and it's great to just see the historics becoming more and more, particularly in Ireland. It's becoming more and more relevant, I think, and it seems particularly with the now the M3s coming in, that seems to have really, you know, raised the profile of the historics, and that's really brilliant to see, I would say.
Yeah, and for yourself, can you see yourself coming over here, and obviously you'll want to do the Ulster, could you see yourself maybe doing another event or two maybe for a warm-up?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, we'll see. We're still just figuring out what we're going to be doing this year precisely. But definitely there would need to be, given we know the roads well around Ballymena, we better do the Ulster Rally. But we'll see. We'll see what other events we might be able to do.
Because now we're spoiled for choice a bit, particularly now as it's got the separate gravel events, and we love the gravel too, to be honest. But then there's all these fantastic tarmac ones, but you can't do everything, but still, then the reverse is true. When we go back home to some events, they're still great too. And so when you haven't been there for a while, it's nice to have another go at them. For sure.
And Fintan, what better event to warm up for the Ulster Rally than the Kerry Duff stages that will be run out of Downpatrick?
25th of July.
Oh, very good.
Buy your tickets now.
No, listen. I'm not sure what we're doing for sure this year at home, but certainly we're talking about going to Escort Special in Belgium in September. But before that, we have a new modified car on the blocks, literally just finished, a 2.5 car, and we're going to try and bed it in over the local Northern Ireland rounds before we go to Belgium again. And then we're not sure what we're doing later on in the year, but plans will evolve. A wee bit like Will, we're in discussions at the minute.
Tim, for yourself, can you see yourself going back European Historic this year?
Yeah, as I say, I just brought the car back. Unfortunately, the head's gone porous, so it just heads to Sherwood this week for repair. And then my plan is to do certainly Costa Brava, for maybe the 7th time. So that just gives an idea how much I love it. And then I think the next round is it Ernie? It's in Sardinia, yes.
It's Sardinia if you're doing the pre-92s. If you're doing the pre-2000s, I think it's Czech Republic. Yeah.
Right, and then of course Antibes this year. Unfortunately, we didn't get it last year, but I think they've included Turini this year, which is another rallying.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's my understanding anyway. So, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. I'm away quite a lot in the summer, so it doesn't always fit well.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And then having Cerrig again, that would be quite close to home for you as well. Could you see that being part of your calendar this year?
I've not done it actually, but again, it depends where the car is. I mean, I did have 2 cars, but now I just have 1, unfortunately. So, but it depends what we're going to do later on. I mean, yes, that's meant to be a fantastic event. I mean, Ocean Price has done it, Hayden did it, and they've told me that it is a brilliant event to do. And again, from what we were saying before, it has a great following, certainly in the area.
For sure. And Barney, for yourself, have helmet bag and the rally sit packed, ready to go?
Work's only getting in the way of rallying. I think we're at the minute we're talking about trying to do that gravel championship, that European gravel championship, and I think Donegal is the first thing that was on the calendar. So as long as we get an entry for Donegal, we're definitely going to it.
Uh-huh.
And then if you're talking to Marty, he's looking to do a rally on a Wednesday, like. But real life, whatever dream world he's in half the time, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what the crack is. You'd love to get to do them all. That European. I obviously would like to do Ypres as well. Again, I love Ypres, and probably that Italian rally will have to definitely do that last round of the gravel championship. It looks really good. Yeah. So, well, here, look, our life, things are pretty fluid, so we'll just keep the helmet bag at the front door, and if we get a chance to go and do something, we'll go and do it,
And would you like to see yourselves being part of, from the European comes to the Ulster? Can you see that featuring on the calendar for you?
That could be, I would say we might take the big yoke there.
Okay.
So just because it's not part of it, not that I'll be quite honest, we've never really cared about a championship. It's always been event by event, The championship's just the excuse to get the diary filled in. But I think if we get the big car sort of half working and try and get it to finish Donegal, then she'll definitely go to the Ulster after that then, because Marty, if Glenn done and tore heads on it, I'll need an extra set of belts.
You'll need more than an extra set of belts.
We'll need a pad the 2 sides of the road.
and Alan, for yourself then, you'll have the barbecue just ready to be lit up whenever it's required?
If I'm asked, I'll try my best. My main objective this year is to get 2 new hips before I decide where I go or where I can or can't go. So that's
get him a Benidorm limousine.
Alan, yes. I reckon that could be arranged if you go to some foreign events. Just while we're out doing the rallying, I'm sure I know somebody that does that, so he could probably call in.
I wouldn't surprise me at all that you don't know somebody that does that.
I think Rieger are doing new hips in their new portfolio. All right.
There's a few boys around home, but they don't do hip replacements, they do hip dislocations.
You could have new hips, new teeth, and new hair.
Definitely get rid of your old ones.
Really, as I've said many a time before, Kevin, I'm grateful that I'm able to, well, maybe not able to, but I do try to do it anyway, to be involved with such a great bunch of folk. The year we had last year, 1 or 2 events, the fun was just unreal. Yes, it's serious when they go rallying, but I sit there on goes and tour, stays and tour. Not in the fun and great bunch of folk. great memories. And sure, that's what life's all about, making memories and looking back and then being able to enjoy it.
So what an absolute pleasure it was to hear those stories and being allowed to almost sit in the sidelines and listen, Conor.
Ah, look, it was great. And look, a nice little summary there from Alan Bolton at the end, just pulling it all together.
That's for sure, yeah. So that's the first episode of 2026. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. And until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally here, because that day and that hour and those minutes I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.